Hey guys, what's up? It's Audra and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, it is the beginning of a new year on this channel. So I decided I'm going to do a year in review of 2022 for you. Let's do it. Okay, starting out this year in January, we traveled to LA to do our first writing trip of the year. And we actually got the song, our new song Dollhouse, on that writing trip, which is crazy. But we wrote a bunch of songs, and I think only one of the songs that we wrote that trip is actually gonna end up getting released. No, while we were there, we ended up writing Sting, You Won't See Me Again, Where Are You Now, Lucky, no, maybe not Lucky, maybe that was a different time. Anyways, we wrote a lot of songs and we had an amazing writing trip that time. We had so much fun and it was awesome. It was a really cool way to start off the new year because we were really excited about all that stuff. So great way to kick it off. And then at that same time, we also played our show with the Somerset in Arizona, which was super fun. And obviously we love John and Steven and Brian and Jess. And we had a blast getting to play with them for the first time. That was the first time we've ever played with the Somerset, even though we've been writing with John and Steven for so long, but we had just so much fun playing live with them. In February, that was our chill month. We were home and we were just shooting videos and that was pretty much it. We did just a little bit of relaxing because we had a lot to do the next month. So we got ahead on a bunch of our first to 11 videos and tried to get all of that stuff done before we headed into March. And March, as you guys probably know, was when we left for our tour with Point North. So we drove from Erie, Pennsylvania all the way to Seattle, and along the way we stopped at a few places and enjoyed our little drive out there. We went to Mount Rushmore and we stopped at a few very nice resorts on our way and just had such a great time, even just driving out there before the tour even started. Obviously we had so much fun with Point North, and as you guys know, we write and have written almost all of our songs for these upcoming releases with John Lundeen, who's the singer of Point North. So this was kind of the first time that we got to hang out with him for a while and everybody in Point North, but we are super close to those guys and we had just so much fun on this tour. It was the first tour that my family and friends could actually come see us on as well because they weren't able to make it out to the Against the Current shows because there wasn't really one that was close to us. So when we played in Pittsburgh, we had our first hometown show and it was more than you could ever imagine. It was fantastic and it was just such a fun month. In April, we ended our Point North tour a little bit early because John ended up getting COVID. But the cool part about that whole thing was I actually got to sing the Point North set for 3 nights on the tour, which was pretty fun. And at the end of April, we ended up doing our little first to 11 tour run. So we played 3 shows with Brooke, who you guys know, and Andy Case, who you guys also know, and we got to do a little tour with them, which was super fun. In May, we took another trip to LA for some more writing, and we also played Emo Night, which was, oh my gosh, such a blast. I could not believe that that was a real thing. Emo Night is just this anomaly that people just always want to do, and we got a chance to do it and it was so much fun. And then that same trip to LA, my friends, so Allie, Ricky, Matt, and Diego met me in LA and we went to LA for Ricky's birthday, so I got to take them around LA and kind of show them all the sights and things that we normally do there, but with my friends, which was so cool because nobody ever really gets to see what we do and where we go in LA. So it was really cool to kind of be a tour guide for a few days instead of, working. So I worked the first half of the month of May and then my friends met me there and we were on a 5-day vacation in LA as well. So I was in LA for basically the majority of May. Then at the very end of May, we had the iconic trip to So What Festival. So let me tell you, I don't know if we ever actually talked about this, but we had the worst time getting to So What Festival. Number one, we tried to drive Matt's car and Matt's car ended up not breaking down, but we just got a little nervous driving it that far. So we ended up stopping and flying to Texas, which was totally unexpected. So we flew to Texas. While we were in the hotel the night before we were supposed to fly out, I forget, I was like sick or something. I don't know. I was taking antibiotic. Turns out I was allergic to the antibiotic. So I had an allergic reaction in the hotel. I woke up in the morning. I was covered in hives, had like a scratchy throat. It was a disaster. Matt had to like go get me medicine from like the store. We had to get on our flight. Then on our flight, on our layover, we had to leave the airport, go to CVS, get me more medicine, come back to the airport. So then we get there, we finally land in Texas, we play the show. The show was awesome, but it was super hot. We like almost overheated on stage. And then we had the flight fiasco of 2022. So we all took different flights home. Matt had to fly back. I can't even remember where we were. He had to fly back to wherever his car was, where we left it at the hotel. But his flight took off late, so he missed his second flight and he was stranded in Atlanta for like 2 days. Sam was on the same flight that also took off late. He barely made it to his flight and made it to Pittsburgh, not even to Erie. And I was on a flight to Detroit because I was going to my cousin Dan's wedding the next day. So I flew from Texas to Detroit and barely got to Detroit in time because my flight was delayed. So I got picked up from the airport in Detroit, I feel like at like 2 in the morning or something crazy. So I barely made it to the wedding, but I did make it. And that weekend was my cousin's wedding. So I got to be there for the wedding, which was awesome. But it was such a disaster of a trip, and it was probably one of our worst moments in 2022. Okay, so moving on to the summer months. In January, we went on vacation with the Federicis. That was my second vacation in 2 months with Federicis, but we went to Disney with our whole family and their whole family, and that was the first time they had been in so long. And as you guys know, I love Disney so much, and it was like I got to be a tour guide again. So me and my mom kind of like planned the whole vacation and like did everything like the way that we do Disney. So like when we do Disney like hard. Like we were at the park every day from open to close. We're eating dinners out. We're like going to downtown Disney afterwards, like all the things that you can imagine. So they were wiped out after this vacation. All of us were. You know, you're supposed to like relax on vacation. We just like don't do that. We just don't. So that was so much fun getting to go there with like our friends, and we definitely will be doing that again. In July, I had my 21st birthday, which was very, very fun and exciting. So we went out the night of my birthday. It was a Monday, and we actually celebrated just a little bit. So we went to the beer garden in Erie, which is my favorite place to go. And then we went to Rum Runners, and because my birthday is in the summer, obviously all of the places on the water were open. So that's like where we hung out most of the night. And then some of my friends came back to my house, and we did like a little like after party of the party. That same month, we also did like my birthday present for my parents, which is we went to a Jimmy Buffett concert. So you guys kind of saw that in the vlog in July, but we rented an RV, and all like 20 of us packed into this RV, drove to Pittsburgh, and went to see Jimmy Buffett. We tailgated all day. We saw him, and then we tailgated afterwards, and like we all stayed in a hotel together. It was just so much fun. At the end of July, Concrete Castles played our very first like actual hometown show in Erie, Pennsylvania. We played this big summer festival that we have in Erie called 8 Great Tuesdays, and we were the headliners at it, and it was insane. There were thousands of people there, and all of our friends could come, and all of our family who had not seen us previously on like tour or anything, because it was literally in our hometown. Like it took some of them like 5 minutes to get there. So that was so exciting. It was a beautiful night. It was right on the water. We played like as the sun was setting. It was like a dream. Like there probably was nothing better than that. And I think that was like right around the time when You Won't See Me Again came out. So we played that for like the first time live there, which was so exciting. In August, I think we like played a show somewhere at the beginning of the month with First to 11. We played a festival in like Montana. And then I literally flew back from Montana, and the same day I got back from Montana, I like got back at like 3 in the morning, and then slept for like a few hours, woke up, and drove to Indiana for Michaela's bachelorette party. So we had a bachelorette party weekend in Indiana, which was a ton of fun. And then we came back. I only stayed there for like 1 day. Then we ended up filming Lucky in August as well. And Zach, the guy who films all of our videos for First to 11, got married to his now wife, Allison. So we got to go to their wedding and celebrate those two getting married. And First to 11 headline or opened up for like the big headliner at Celebrate Erie that month as well. So it was ex-ambassadors, and First to 11 was like the direct support for them. So we got to play like the biggest festival. It's like 8th Grade Tuesdays is big, but Celebrate Erie is like bigger. So First to 11 played Celebrate Erie this year, and it was a blast. We played for an hour. And again, like all of our friends and family could come, and it was just like those festivals and things that we have in Erie are so much fun, and they're kind of like the only big like community things that we do here, especially in the summer, because people actually can like go outside because it's nice. And just the whole entire city shows up, and it's just so cool to be a part of something like that. In September, we went on tour with Set It Off and had so much fun. There's like nothing more for me to even say about tours anymore because, you know, it takes up your whole entire month and all you do is play shows every single day. Some cool things I remember from the Set It Off tour are just like, we obviously really enjoyed cities, but this was the first time I'd ever been out of the country. So we went, and it wasn't even far, it was Canada. But we started the tour in Canada, and that was the first time I'd ever been out of the country and the first time Concrete Castles has ever played out of the country. So that was very exciting. And then at the very end of the tour, we got to go to the Mall of America, which I've always wanted to go to. So we like left the city before like super early in the morning so we could get to the Mall of America and spend some time there before we played a show in Minneapolis that night. And it was just so awesome. It like blew my expectations out of the water. It was crazy. Then at the end of the Set It Off tour and the end of that month, we played Riot Fest in Chicago, which was absolutely the best festival we have ever played before. It was so well set up and put together, and everybody was so nice and helpful, and it was just awesome. It was the biggest crowd we've ever had at a festival before. And coming off of a tour instead of doing like a one-off festival is so much more fun because you've just been playing the set and practicing and playing out for a month straight, and then you get to end a tour like this with a festival. It was just the perfect ending to that tour and that month. In October, we played some private parties for First to 11. We had one in Tennessee, and then we went to Orlando and played one, and we had one extra day in Orlando, and I decided I wanted to go to Disney World. So I bought tickets to Disney World the day before because our flight wasn't leaving until late the next day. So me and Matt bought tickets to Disney World, and we went drinking around the world at Epcot that day before we flew out to come back to Erie, Pennsylvania. And then literally a week after that, two of my best friends, Colin and Michaela, got married, and I was in the wedding, and so were a bunch of our friends. So we got to, you know, do all that, like the rehearsal dinner, and then we stayed over at the venue and had so much fun the night before, and then it was like the actual wedding day. We got ready, we took pictures, then we partied at the wedding reception, and then we partied at the hotel afterwards, and then we woke up the next day and wondered why we partied so much, but it was very fun. And then I think the next day, actually after the wedding, was Brooke's album release party show, and all of my friends came to that as well to see Brooke. And then a few weeks later, I went to see Wicked, and it was because my voice teacher and my friend Emily Kristen Morris, who I'm sure you guys have heard of before, is on the tour right now. She's the Elphaba standby, and she found out she was going to be playing Elphaba in 2 of the shows, or 3 of the shows or something in Chicago. So me and my mom drove to Chicago and spent 2 days there and went to see Emily perform her very first time, or very first like weekend as Elphaba, and she did an amazing job. She's incredible, incredible vocalist and an incredible teacher, and that was very fun. And then at the very end of that month, me and Allie went to see Echo Smith in the same venue that we saw them, our first concert ever together, and had so much fun. It was just a month of fun, that's for sure. In November, we had another Concrete Castles writing trip, and we finished a bunch of songs for a second album, everyone. And it had such a blast. We wrote with John Lundeen almost the whole entire time. We only had one other session. And we got a ton of cool songs that we were super excited about. While we were there, Where Are You Now came out, which is, I talked about in a previous video, like one of the coolest songs to me that we've ever written, just because it's so personal. And then we also had, obviously, came home and had Thanksgiving. So me and my friends do a big party on Thanksgiving Eve. Instead of going out, a lot of people go out on Thanksgiving Eve, but we just throw a party together. So we had that party, and then Thanksgiving was the next day. Then in December, we went to see the 1975, which was, probably one of the best moments of my life. I went to a lot of concerts this year now that I'm like reading back through everything that we did. Obviously it was Christmas, so we did all the Christmas celebration. We released all of our First to 11 Christmas videos. We did a few video shoots for Concrete Castles, and then the very last day of 2022, so today's January 1st, so last night, First to 11 played a wedding. So we played a wedding on New Year's Eve, and we got to celebrate New Year's Eve all together at this wedding, and we played Sweet Child of Mine and ended with 10 seconds left of 2022 and did the countdown into the new year. So what a way to go out in 2022. Thank you guys so much for watching my year in review video, and thank you for all of the support that you gave me, First to 11 and Concrete Castles in 2022. We can't wait to see what happens this year in 2023. We already have so much planned for you that we can't wait for you to see. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss an upload every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, see you next week.